The kids ask, "Can we eat?" You can. Just wait while I show one how it looks. Look at this. Still hot. Gorgeous. The prep here is super simple, just a few ingredients. You'll need 800 grams of all-purpose flour. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, then mix everything together. Pour in 100 milliliters of yogurt. Then add 400 milliliters of water. Add 2 tablespoons of oil next. Mix everything with a spoon now. Once the wet and dry ingredients are combined like this, so there are no wet spots left and it doesn't stick to your hands, scrape off the excess from the spoon and knead the dough by hand. Knead until you've gathered all the dough from the bowl and it's fully combined. Once you have this dough, transfer it to a work surface. Continue kneading the dough on the work surface. Knead the dough with classic motions for 1 minute. Once kneaded, let the dough rest for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, knead the dough again. Don't knead it for too long, just a little more. And that's about it. Divide the dough into 16 portions. Cut larger pieces from the big ones and add them to the smaller ones, making sure they're roughly the same size. Now shape each piece into a ball. Do all of this by hand. Then place them on a tray. If working on a table, you don't need to use a tray. Just arrange everything on one end of the table. Cover with a kitchen towel and let rest for 5 minutes while you clear the space and prep the remaining ingredients. You'll need cornstarch or starch flour for rolling out the dough later. Now sprinkle a little cornstarch on your work surface. Dip 1 dough ball into the cornstarch. Now roll it out flat. Don't make big circles, just small ones around 10 centimeters in diameter. This goes quickly since you don't need to roll it out much. Most importantly, don't knead it too much. Let each rest for just 5 minutes. Return the tray and sprinkle with cornstarch. Then sprinkle cornstarch between each thin sheet. Then join 4 sheets at a time. Join them so they're roughly the same size. Pair small portions with small, large with large. You'll see later how these turn into beautiful thin sheets. While the dough rests, prepare the filling. Make the filling to your liking. I am using ground meat. Use 600 grams of ground meat, 1 large onion finely chopped, 50 milliliters of warm water, 1 teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of pepper. Add seasonings to your taste. Mix everything well until combined and the filling is ready. When using store-bought phyllo, sauté the onion and meat, but with fresh homemade sheets, use raw ground meat too. That's it, the filling is ready. Now watch the magic happen. Take the first batch of dough, then roll it out gently with a rolling pin. Like this. Now like this. To roll evenly, flip the dough, then continue. Join 4 sheets per batch for 16 portions, but you can join more. Sprinkle more cornstarch, then flip again. Now see how thin these sheets turn out. This is one of the easiest ways to make pita. Now take this sheet and set it aside. Do the same with the next sheet. Find the edge of the sheet. Be sure to put plenty of cornstarch in the center, so you can separate the sheets more easily. If there's not enough, they'll stick and be hard to separate. Here's an example from my batch. No worries, every piece will be used for a small pita. Place the first dough portion down. Now fold it over slightly here. Then take the meat filling. Spread it along the full length, or your chosen filling. There we go. Roll it up. Shape it into a log. Place it in the baking tray. Repeat this with all remaining dough portions. Even if it tears, it's totally fine, don't worry. You can still use it. Now watch this. Tear off any excess or thick ends, no problem. This amount of meat I use is enough for 8 dough portions. I forgot to mention that. I'll fill the rest with cheese. Something for every taste. Pour oil into a bowl, then brush each pita individually. These pitas won't be greasy or dry. Brush them well with oil, as there's plenty of flour and cornstarch from rolling out the sheets we used. Only preheat the oven to 220 degrees Celsius after brushing all pitas, without fan and convection. Once preheated, put the pitas in to bake. There we go. Let them sit while the oven preheats. For the cheese filling, I use feta and fresh cheese. I added a little sour cream to increase the amount. Now I'll add 2 whole eggs. Salt to taste if the cheese is unsalted, then mix everything together. The oven preheated while I made the filling, so I'll put the pitas in to bake. I'll roll out the remaining 2 dough portions. Now fill these with the cheese filling. Pinch the sides closed so the filling doesn't leak. Then roll them up neatly. Place the last pita in, then brush all with oil. When the burek is almost done, take a small pot. Pour in 200 milliliters of water, add half a teaspoon of salt and 70 grams of butter. Bring to a boil over heat, then simmer for 30 seconds. After 35 minutes, take the pitas out of the oven. Then take the glaze we made and pour it over each pita. Sometimes it's pita, sometimes burek. Call it whatever you like. Now put them back in the oven for 5 minutes. Bake the cheese pitas for 25 minutes. Glaze those too. Use up all the glaze, then put back in the oven for 5 minutes. And there they are, freshly baked. Baking time 35 plus 5 minutes. Arrange them, let cool slightly, then serve. No words needed for this pita. Just look at it. Soft, fluffy, and so tender, yet crispy on the outside. Now look at the meat one. You can't pick a favorite. Just look at that.